Hey guys, Churchy here. So in this video, I just want to kind of talk about why I'm feeling pretty hyped, pretty excited for Elden Ring. I don't want to let my hype kind of get out of control. I want to keep my excitement kind of tamed. I find it's best not to let yourself get too hyped up for games, or they tend to disappoint you. But what I want to sort of talk about is just that, well, to start with, I'm reasonably confident. I mean, in saying all that about, not getting too hyped, I am reasonably confident that I'm going to have a great time with Elden Ring. And the reasons I say this is just basically because while I haven't actually played any of the Dark Souls games really, apart from like 5 minutes here or there, at this point in time I have actually played a few different Souls-likes. So like Remnant, From the Ashes, Code Vein, and of course Outward, just to name a few. But one of the things I really like with that style of game is the combat and just the satisfying just the movement and attack patterns and stuff. But what I also really like is that each one of these games seems to have their own kind of unique it's got their own unique characteristics to each of those things. So like every time you play a different Souls-like, you kind of find yourself learning the mechanics and stuff and kind of adjusting to them, which can take a bit of time, but it's usually a pretty satisfying process. And then as you get better and better at it, it just becomes really satisfying engaging with the combat. And then the other thing I really like as well is just the feeling of progression, not only in that sense, but also in the sense of learning all the surrounding mechanics and then also improving your character's abilities, and just then that really awesome moment when you defeat like a strong boss or enemy or something, just a challenging fight, and you overcome it. It's really cool. And why does that apply to Elden Ring? So to me, Elden Ring looks like From Software have basically taken all of the best elements of their previous games and combined them into one. Into one really enticing package. And the other thing about that is like these guys are the leaders in this genre of game. Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, none of which I've played, but I've seen how good they look. I will play them eventually. But that's one element that basically that really it just looks really good in that sense. So something else that I think is quite interesting about Elden Ring that's kind of, enticing me a little bit more is I just like the look of the world. And I mean, I don't know anything about the lore yet, but just in terms of the world and lore, everything seems to have a dark kind of strange, maybe a little bit mysterious kind of overtone to it. And I really like the look of the environments and the characters and the weapons and the armors. Everything just thematically looks very like, yes, it's very fantasy, but it's also, like I said, it's got that dark kind of tone to it, and also that strange kind of out there tone. And yeah, maybe just like a hint of like Lovecraftianness to it, maybe. But yeah, speaking of environments, I think the level design looks really good. I love the way it's got these big sprawling environments you can kind of jump up around on and do all this stuff on, and then find little secret nooks and crannies. And then also it's got the big dungeons that are the legacy dungeons, I think they were called, but you can basically like seamlessly transition from the open world into one of these dungeons and back out. And I really love the fact that that's been designed to be seamless. Like, I'll be interested to see how they pulled it all off, but that's a big strength, because in terms of immersion, if you've got a game that is just seamless transitions and stuff, it just adds so much to your immersion, because you're not waiting for a loading screen and so on. And yeah, speaking of the open world, I just really like the fact that it's an open world. I think open worlds, when they're done right, can be some of the most satisfying games out there. And yeah, as I said, the movement and combat, that's another thing. I really love how refined and just engaging it looks, and both the players and the NPC movements, they seem to be, and their attack patterns and everything, it all seems to look really well animated, but at the same time it kind of has that weightiness to it, and like everything seems to look impactful, like when you swing a sword or cast a spell or whatever it is, it's really smooth and fluid, but really like looks really weighty and satisfying. I mean, I'll have to wait till I actually play it to confirm that. But yeah, from what I've seen, it looks really good. So another thing that has me excited is that it seems that there are just a heap of character classes to choose from, and each of them seem to offer something a little bit different and a little bit of a different kind of start in a way, just based on what you can do. And I think that will be really good because it should hopefully mean that there's a bunch of different unique play styles to kind of choose from and refine and use and develop as you play through the game. So that'll be really cool. I also really like that the character creation looks to have quite a bit of customization to it when you first start making your character and how they look. So that's really good for me because I just love making unique looking characters and stuff. And I tend to spend quite a bit of time mucking around with character creators when they actually provide all those options for you to tweak and play with. So that will be pretty good. I mean, I know that's a small thing, but for me, that's just like it's like an extra cherry on top. And I love in these RPGs, like when you're playing an RPG and you can make a unique character that's like looks how you want them to look. It's just like, it's really nice, you know. It's like a nice little, you can immerse yourself again once more. It's just you can immerse yourself more in what's going on because you've really been able to make the character look just how you wanted them to look, which is, yeah, very satisfying. Another cool thing seems to be a lot of variety in consumables and stuff, and it seems that there's quite a few that, you know, enhance your abilities in different ways, and I think that's a really cool thing. When you remember to use items like that in games, it can be really like, I mean, I know a lot of people, myself included, tend to just end up saving a bunch of things and never using them, but I think when you do get into the mindset of like not always saving them for a big boss battle, but like actually just using your consumables like sparingly, but kind of balanced so that you are using them throughout your playthrough, not just saving them for huge bosses. I think that can actually like add quite a satisfying layer if it's done right, which I think it looks like it will be. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So one of the things that kind of ties all this together for me is that I can see some similarities between Elden Ring and Outward, and that makes sense because Dark Souls is an inspiration for Outward, or one of Outward's inspirations. And for me, it's pretty good that I see these similarities because Outward is one of my favorite games. And it's like, yes, I really love Outward, but it does have some rough edges, and especially some of the combat stuff can be a bit frustrating. Like at times, hitboxes are a bit weird and animations go a bit funky. There's just a few things that, yeah, there's a few rough edges that can just get really, really frustrating. But what excites me about Elden Ring is because it's, you know, a AAA kind of scale game, and it's likely to have just everything just looks much more refined, you know, everything just seems that little bit smoother, and especially the combat, from what I've seen, it just looks really damn fluid, really damn satisfying, and it just really excites me. It really excites me, the possibility of like playing this game that reminds me of one of my favorites, but then looks that little bit more refined and just looks like a step up, sort of. So if it all holds true, I mean, it's going to be, if it lives up to what I'm kind of seeing in the gameplay, then I think it may become a new favorite. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. And yeah, again, just in saying that, like, yeah, I don't want to get too hyped. I want to make sure I kind of rein it in a little bit, but if it does hold up, then it's going to be amazing. It's going to be an awesome game if it holds up to the gameplay that we've seen. And I guess that's another really encouraging thing. All of their trailers that they've been releasing, it's all just been straight up gameplay, but basically, like, they've released like a lot of, you know, hour-long gameplay things and stuff around the place. Like, they've let the community get their hands on the game and like dive into it a bit beforehand, and everything I've seen still looks encouraging and looks really good. So yeah, but yeah, that's basically why I am feeling pretty excited for Elden Ring. I may end up buying it and preloading it and just streaming it on day one. We'll see how we go, but yeah, that's basically it for this video. Thank you to the legends supporting me on Patreon. I could not be doing this sort of thing without you guys, and I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. And thank you for watching. Have a good day or night, whichever it may be, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.